Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome to the conversation of today, negotiation. And you and me, you know that we have to negotiate. When we are born, we begin negotiations. You are at home, you negotiate with your husband. Should I go for this business or I should not go for this business? Who is going to do the cleaning of the home and who is going to do the washing of the dishes? At home, we have to negotiate who is doing what, and of course at the job site, if you are working with a company, you want to negotiate if your salary will be increased. You want to negotiate with partners, with other people, and each time we go for a negotiation, we of course want to win a negotiation. And today we're going to be talking about the techniques of negotiation and to understand if negotiation skills can be learned. You do not want to miss this conversation. My name is Vera Sompon, and I'm your host. And today we are having a business coach with us who will give us the techniques of negotiation. Stay tuned as we continue this conversation. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the conversation of today with, of course, a brother, a friend, and a business partner who is on board with us today to teach us, reveal to us the techniques of negotiation. The topic today is negotiation skills are essential for business success. Can negotiation skills be learned? Welcome on board. Of course, today is a web class with Florian Dzukou. Florian, you're welcome, and I hope that I succeed to pronounce your name correctly.
Yeah,
Thank you for
sure.
being my guest today, and I'm very excited over this conversation. And I know that everybody is wanting to learn how to negotiate, and we already had this conversation that negotiation begins at home. When we negotiate already who is going to prepare the breakfast, why that particular breakfast, why this particular meal, who is doing the dishes, why this particular dishes. We want to negotiate in everything we do. Those who are working in the offices also want to negotiate to have increment in salary or in wages. And of course, if you are in the business world like we are in the business world, then we have to understand the skills of negotiation because that is what takes us to the highest level. Thank you for being my guest. This is your platform. Tell us more who you are. Can we learn negotiation skills? And of course, the 10 techniques for negotiation.
Hello, Vera. I'm so always happy to be on your show. Thank you for having me.
Thank
My
you.
name is Florian Dzukou. I am a businessman and entrepreneur. Yes, negotiation can be learned, but you have first of all, we negotiate every day. Since we are babies, we negotiate. Everybody negotiate. You negotiate to have something. You negotiate to get married. You negotiate to have babies. You negotiate to for your salary. Everything is about negotiation, right? So negotiation is something that is in us, but has to be learned. So to be skilled, you need to learn how to negotiate, how to be effective. Obviously, you can be talented in terms of negotiation, but still to be an expert, you need to learn. Now, I'm going to walk you through 10 principles about negotiation, okay? 10 principles about negotiation. So negotiation is about getting something that you want to get, okay, from somebody else. First, rule number one, don't negotiate. What does that mean? Don't negotiate. For instance, if you are selling something, you need to get the value proposition of what you are selling and stick to your price. This is, for instance, if you are selling something, okay? So make sure you understand what you are proposing, what you bring on the table, and make sure to get for this value proposition. This is when you are selling something, for instance. Let's say you are proposing a service, for instance. Let's say you are selling a service. First of all, don't look for money, okay? Go ahead and solve the problem of your counterpart on the negotiation table, and then put the bill on the table. He's going to pay. So this is something very critical when proposing a service. This is rule number one. The rule number two is that don't negotiate with yourself. Meaning what? When you negotiate, you have a higher price you want to hit. You have an average one, and you have a price that you don't want to get under that price. Make sure you don't get under the price you set before you get into the home. Make your possible. We're going to see that afterward we have some compromise. So we're going to compromise on some things, but make sure you understand the value proposition of what you bring on the table. Don't go under the price you cannot afford. So if you cannot afford going under one price, stick on that, because you understand what you propose and what value proposition you bring on the table. This is the rule number two. Rule number three, and listen to this very carefully: never, ever accept the first proposition. The first offer, don't accept, because most of the time, the first proposition is not the higher bet of the counterpart. He always has something under the table he can propose. So never ever accept the first proposition. Make sure that when the first proposition comes in, you go over that. So you try to hit something higher than that. This is so critical. Rules number 4, never make the first offer. Okay? Never make the first offer. This is important because when you make the first offer, the other guy makes sure he doesn't break the rule number 2. Okay? And you also make sure you don't break the rule number 1. So make sure you don't bring up the first offer. Okay, this is also important. Make sure you don't bring the first offer, because if the other guys bring the first offer, you can negotiate further. Okay, to hit the higher price or the higher deal. Okay, so this is rule number 4. Now let me walk you through rules number 5. I've put that together on a piece of paper so not to forget. Rule number 5 is that listen more and talk less. Why is that? Because we have 2 eyes and we have 2 ears and just 1 moon. This is 1 moon. This is the 80-20%. So make sure you listen more and talk less. Because when you listen more, you have time to control the gesture, you have time to control the body language, and you have time to make sure you don't forget the other rules, okay? The other principle. So listen more and talk less. Rule number 6, or principle number 6, ladies and gentlemen, never ever make a free gift. Don't make a free gift. If you give up something, you need to get something in return before giving up something. I'm going to take you an example. Let's say you are negotiating on 1,000 euro, okay? And you are giving up 10%, let's say 100 euro from the scratch, from the beginning. So your counterpart, the business partner, he's going to feel entitled to this 10% the next round, the next negotiation. So when he walks in the next negotiation, he's going to come in and assume that, okay, I already have 10%, and now I'm going to drive the price down to 800. So before you make a gift, make sure you get something back. Never make a free gift. Never make a free gift. Before you give up something, you need to get something out. This is number 6, rule number 6 of negotiating. Okay? So Rule number 7, ladies and gentlemen, is don't salami, don't split your negotiation features. Let's say you are selling a house. Let's say you are selling a house, and in the house you have the carpet, you have closet, you have the kitchen, and you even have, let's say you have other feature in the house. So when you salami those things, if you sell the kitchen separate, and if you sell the carpet separate, if you sell the other features separate in the same big price, you run the risk that the guy or the other party says, I don't want the kitchen, I don't want that, I don't want that, to drive the price down. You put this together in the same price and you stick to rule number 1. Okay, you stick to rule number 1. So unless you need it, don't salami, don't split. Put everything together and hit a price and stick to that. Try to stick to that. This is rule number 7. Rule number 8, avoid the rookie regret. So before you go into a negotiation process, make sure you have 3-point answer. Which kind of value proposition I am bringing, okay, and what it is worth for the other part to pay for that, okay? Is it worthy for the other part to pay for that? And the third rule is the cost equal to the value? So those are the things you need to answer to avoid the rookie regret. Not selling something, not negotiating something, and after that, walking out of the room, you feel regret because you lose some point, okay? This is rule number 8. Rule number 9 is never, never, ever make a quick deal. Why is that? Because all negotiation, ladies and gentlemen, has a tempo, has a schedule, has a rhythmus. Let's say a tempo. All negotiation has a tempo. And when working through this tempo, if somebody want to rush you to a decision, maybe he has seen some value he want to take advantage of. So don't rush to make a quick deal. Be slow. And when somebody is rushing, go back and review the value proposition, maybe to drive the price high. Okay, this is so important. And finally, we going to rule number 10, and the final one. The rule number 10 is never ever disclose your bottom line. Before the conversation, before the negotiation, during the negotiation, and afterward, never disclose your bottom line. Never tell the other part what drove you into your decision making. Okay, they have to have the feeling, a win-win feeling, will remain to the next negotiation. Because if they walk out of the negotiation with a feeling that they have lost something because you told them where you leverage, so the next time you're gonna get into some trouble negotiating a good deal with them. So never ever disclose your bottom line. So those are the 10 points I just wanted to walk you through, to give you some mindset about how to hit a better result when working in a negotiation. All right. Yes, Vera, give it
Thank
over
you
to
very
you.
much. Thank you, Florian. That was amazing. Those were amazing 10 points, principles, you called them, for negotiation. And I would like to review them again for those who are just joining us. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. Today we are having the conversation. Negotiation skills can be learned. And of course, we are on board with a business coach, Florian Dzukou, who is also giving us some techniques on how to negotiate properly. And of course, he gave the 10 techniques and I wrote them down. You can scroll down to the chat and see also the conversation. And the first one, he said, never negotiate. Don't negotiate. That was the first rule. Second rule, he said, don't negotiate with yourself. So the first one is don't negotiate. The second one is don't negotiate with yourself. The third one is never accept the first offer. That's a big one there. The fourth one is never make the first offer. So the third one, never accept the first offer. And the fourth one, don't make the first offer. Amazing. Thank you, Francois. I'm seeing you. Hi. He says, hi. Good to be here. Good to see you. The
Hi,
fifth one,
Francois.
he says, listen more and talk less. And you call it the 80-20% of conversation because we have two ears, two nostrils, the holes there, but only one mouth to speak and two ears to listen. So we have to listen more, be observant, and of course, speak less. So the 80-20%. And you went further to say that never make a free gift. This one struck my mind, and we're going to come on that again. Never make a free gift or give something for nothing. And rules number 7, don't salami. You know, when you talked about don't salami, I just kept thinking, how often have we been salamiing ourselves, even in our businesses, right? And you said salami means the splitting half. If you're selling something and someone says, I want to buy but this one no, which is all involved in a package. So don't do the salami business. And of course, rule number 8, avoid the rocky regrets. So before you go for negotiation, you should know already what your value is. You should know already what you're selling, why that is important, and of course, don't go for that regret goals. And you said number 9, every negotiation has a tempo. I like this one because usually someone comes and want to negotiate with you, want to collaborate with you, but you realize that they keep pressing you, pushing you, and at times you have the impression, oh, maybe I just give in now. That's a good deal because if I miss this partner, maybe I may not even have this partner again. But you said no. You should not always press because every deal got a tempo. And the last one you said, don't disclose the bottom line. I like this a lot because this is actually why business is interesting, right? Because if you have to disclose already why you decided for, of course the person really has the ability to say, okay, then I can now understand why. And the person feels like, if that be the case, then you cheated on me. Then the person knows every secret of your business, and then becomes difficult to really work with the person. Thank you very much, Florian, for this amazing briefing. And let's go dive straight into the conversation. Florian, do you think that we can learn the negotiation skills you just gave us? A part of it. You just gave us a part of it. Do you think we can learn negotiation, or one just is born with negotiation?
Yes or no. Let me say this: you learn everything, okay? Because nobody is born with certain things. Obviously, you can be born with a certain talent, but still, to be an expert, those are things you need to know. You need to master certain things. You need to practice certain things, to exercise that. And when you begin to exercise that down the road, again and again and again, you becomes an expert, and that stick to your finger. So
Mm,
negotiating, you must learn how to negotiate. You must learn how to negotiate, but still you can be talented and still being learning how to negotiate. Yes.
Thank you. You can be
Mhm.
talented and, of course, still be learning because we know that in as much as we have talent, we have to put this talent into practice. It is
Mhm.
practice that makes it perfect. Florian, I have a question from our viewer. You're welcome, Mr. Bolly for Elvis. Mr. Bolly for Elvis asked the question, sir, do not make the first offer. Do not accept the first offer. Confusing, given that most employers are so full of themselves and will just throw you away. What should be done? Thank you so much, Elvis. I have to just laugh at this question, but thank you for being here. I'm not. We are employers, but we are not full of ourselves. So not all employers, and thank God you say most, but not even most. The most humble people I know are employers. So he says, What do we do,
All right. Yeah,
Florian?
this
Now
is a
that
very
you,
good
you
question.
said
But
that,
you know, this is the things. When you want something bad, you becomes all of a sudden a bad negotiator.
mm,
Don't ever want something bad. Nothing. And this is why um, good negotiators are people who are doing well,
mm-hmm,
okay, in life, in many things, you know, because when you are doing well, you are not rushing. And the problem this brother is raising is has to do with the pressure we have to do with ourselves in our own life. If you really
mm-hmm.
need a job, I mean, how will you negotiate from strength? you you are going in with weakness. It's hard to hit a good deal, isn't it?
But wait a minute,
But
Florian.
one thing is clear: you have to understand and know the value proposition you're bringing on the table. Because even if the negotiation doesn't work out, you still be finding another job because you know the value proposition and the other things around. You've got to know what your counterpart value proposition, value expectation is. For example, if I negotiate something with my brother Elvis and I negotiating something with Bill Gates, and I know that Bill Gates really want this thing, I'm going to drive the price high, okay? Because I know he can pay for that,
Of course.
okay? So this is my answer to that.
Yeah. So I mean, we have to always negotiate knowing who we have before us, right? I was just
Exactly.
telling you that I had a negotiation deal. I was so angry when and now I got the contract and I'm realizing, oh God, I would have added just a few things again to it. And now
This is the wiki regret.
you just get regretting. It is still very good, it is still at the point, but you would have made the best out of it, and you just did not, because somehow you were, yeah. So just to say, but Florian, you said something. Come on, you said negotiators are people who are doing well in life. What does this mean? So does it mean that only the people doing well in life should go
I
in
mean,
for
I mean, good
negotiation deals?
negotiators, because when you're walking into a room with weakness, it's hard for
Mm-hmm.
you to cut a good deal, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, let's say you need a job and your child is at home hungry.
Mm-hmm.
So how will you're gonna accept everything,
That's true.
even
That's
though
true.
you are bringing a good value proposition on the table. So
Mm-hmm.
you understand what I'm saying? So good negotiator doesn't show that they need something bad.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the feeling that too. So
Mm-hmm.
they are negotiating from strength
Mm-hmm.
because um, whether they take it or leave it, their life not gonna crumble.
True. 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 Wow, this is amazing. Good negotiators, I mean, not it doesn't mean that if we are at the weaker part that we can make good negotiations, but that it's only an advantage when someone is already doing well, or someone already is not at the position where he or she is really having to desperately need that thing. And
Yes,
that's
the
what.
Bridget said most of the time the people, yes, this why, yes.
Mhm. So that's
Mhm.
what Bridget is saying. Most of the time, people negotiate from a point of desperation. Now,
Yes.
I still would want to come from this point of desperation. How do we help the people who are in this point of desperation prepare their minds so well that even when they go for their negotiation, it should not look like they were very desperate?
This is a very good question, but this is difficult. But at the same time, my advice to them is that you once you know the value proposition of what you are bringing, tell to yourself, if this deal doesn't work out, the next is coming,
Mm-hmm.
because you understand the value proposition of what you're bringing on the table.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, never want something so bad in everything in life. Okay, trust yourself, understand the value proposition of what you're bringing, and negotiate from that point.
Thank you so much. I really like the second part. Never really want something so bad in life. I mean, you can want something really, really bad. I mean, some of us are dreamers. You keep dreaming and you want to see that dream come to pass. You desire the dream come to pass. When you're eating, you talk about the dream. When you're sleeping, you see the dream, right? So you really want to have it come to pass. But that should not be the point from which you come to negotiate.
And I want to add something. Remind also your counterpart what he really need from you. You know that. So because most of the time your counterpart, he has the feeling with your body language, how you look, how you think,
Oh,
what you want. But you need to remind him or she, okay, I know you need that one because he gonna cover your strength
wow.
and hit on your weakness.
Wow. This is amazing, Florian.
Mm,
Actually, you're not talking something very important here. The communication skills, non-verbal communication. You
mhm.
speak even without speaking,
Yeah.
because your body language reveals to your opponent what you really need and how badly you really need that thing. And it means that it's also important for us, if we're going into a negotiation deals, to also be very observant and to pay attention to every gesture, every mimic, every body language of our opponent, right? Thank you so much. We have another question from a viewer, Sharon. That's it. Thank you, Sharon, for joining us today. And Sharon is asking the question. So, what about one who doesn't know how to negotiate? How do I start a negotiation process?
Um, I don't think it's in some. I mean, everybody negotiate.
Yes, I think so.
Everybody, one
Maybe
way or another.
unconscious to us. I think maybe unconscious to
So,
us. And
mhm,
so since we are bringing it like a topic, it's like
mhm,
if it wasn't, we never negotiate, but actually we
mhm.
all negotiate. But the question is still very pertinent. How can I start a conscious negotiation? Let me reframe her question.
Okay. Now, um, um, you need to, again, this goes to value proposition. Before starting a negotiation, you need to know, understand what you need, what you want, working in a negotiation room.
Mm-hmm,
Understand what you want and what are you bringing on the table.
mm-hmm,
Because negotiation is all about give and take, isn't it? So, what
mm-hmm,
are you bringing? What are you ready to give? And what will you want to take from
mm-hmm,
the other part? So, those are the things. But learning how to negotiate, there are out there. You have books, you have reviews. So always reading, always, get yourself educated about negotiation. This is read a lot about books, a lot of books about negotiation. So I've been reading
mm-hmm.
like 5 books until now. I'm still reading every day about how to negotiate from a position of strength.
We're going to come to those books, and we're going to also recommend some of those books.
Mm,
But I wanted to also recap what you just said, and we I reframed the question, and we agreed, or you said that first we have to understand what we really want. And please, ladies and gentlemen, negotiations is also at home. I think when we are dealing now with business, but all the business skills we just learned here, the 10 techniques you got here, you can just transfer that also to the home. You can transfer that in your office. You can transfer that everywhere. And remember that you must first of all understand what you want and what you are bringing on the table. So if you're a woman and you're married, and of course, you must understand your value also at home, what you're bringing at home, and how you can also negotiate at home with your partner. And of course, what will you give and what would you take from the other partner? So I think that's so important that we understand that negotiation is a give and take. But we have to go out with the giving and taking with the feelings of we have won a good deal, right? Thank you so very much. Did I understand you, Florian? Was that what you said?
Oh, yes, yes. Even though there is a book called, I don't know, I don't remember, Women Negotiate Without Talking.
This is
And
wonderful.
this is true at
Women
home.
negotiate without talking. This is amazing. Tell us more. How?
I don't know, you know better.
Thank you so very much, Florian. This is an amazing conversation. Florian, let me welcome those who are here on board. We have also a business coach, Irene Twizon. And Irene Twizon says, sure, know what your counterpart wants and hit on that because he or she is going to capitalize on your weakness. And Irene Twizon is doing an amazing
Yeah.
business. Irene, I hail you for what you're doing also back home in Africa and, of course, in where you are. Thank you for the amazing job you're
Hello,
doing.
Irene. Yeah. Hello.
Mhm. And Irene has a company where she also exports an Afri farm and she
Mm.
exports a whole lot of products from Cameroon. An amazing work she's doing. And of course, we have Sharon Desi said, thanks. This is a great topic. Yes, thank you very much, Sharon Desi, for being here. And thank you so much, Bridget, for joining the conversation. Bridget said, women negotiate without talking. Wow. And of course, I was also excited to hear more about this part how women negotiate without talking. I don't want, today I'm a host, so I have nothing to say, but I have to learn and get from you. And you said that 80% listening and 20% talking. So now I want to hear from your part. What do you mean by women negotiate better even without talking?
Ah, again, you know better.
Now, it's so difficult to work with negotiators, right? Because now you don't want to give up your first rule, right? You don't want to negotiate.
So
Thank you
this
so
is
very
this
much,
this
Florian.
this rule number 80/20. So women are good on that. This is
Florian, tell us, recommend us some books. Tell us more about the books you have been reading.
if you want to know more, go and check some advanced negotiation technique by Ellen McCarthy. The guy is really
Okay.
really good.
So
I
I'm going
really
to put it
recommend that.
for you guys. You can
Mhm.
please get to also buy the book so you can also help yourself because we are living in a world of negotiation. Like I said, you negotiate at home, you negotiate everywhere. So you just want to understand. You have been negotiating unconsciously as well, and but we are trying to make that very conscious to you so that you are conscious of the negotiations you are making and please know that women also can negotiate without talking. So if you're here and you're a woman, know that you have a competitive advantage over some of the men. This is a good thing for me to hear today. And he is adding negotiating agreement without giving in. Roger Fisher and William Ohri. So these are the books he's recommending. Yes, Sherry, we have the books already listed there. Please, you can just check the books. One of the books, he said, Advanced Negotiation Techniques, Alan Mark Cathy, and then, of course, the other one from Roger Fisher. Please tell us a little more about these books you're reading, Florian. How did you come to read these books? Why?
I have, I have. Most of the time, I'm reading digital books because
Mm,
I have a contract with Script. Yeah,
mhm.
people know Script. This is a book, many books online. So
Okay.
I pay like $10 each month, and I have the world open of books, so I can
Oh,
read. Yes, yes, I recommend that. So I
so
keep,
what's that? Script online or what's that?
yes, Script online. So you have a contract there, and you have all the
Okay.
world open. You can read no matter what, which book you want, in cryptocurrency, in business, in product management,
Amazing.
everything. Yes.
Amazing.
So you have the
Mm,
access. So I recommend that to you. So you have all those books there, and
mm-hmm.
you can read them.
Okay.
And
And
you even have audiobooks. So if you don't have time, even while sleeping, you can listen to the books
mhm,
and you
mhm,
read that. So you can read
mhm,
one book every day.
mhm. One book every day. Amazing. This is really so important. There was a friend, I read a book from a friend, and he told us, or he counseled us, 2015 or 2016 was that, and I invited him in my city where I was working a lot with refugees, and we wanted to find out how we could empower and support, inspire the African refugees, by then, so that they can make the best out of the current situation. And he told us those days that you can practically choose to read 2 books a week. And I was asking, how in God's name will you do this? And he said, it is simple. You just have to have, calculate the books if you want to read it by yourself, or you listen to, or again, you calculate the pages. And he gave a calculation pages, how you can calculate a page and then stick to that. So again, it demands a lot of discipline to read those books. So I want to encourage all our viewers and listeners here, please, if you're here and you find it difficult to read a book, maybe you can switch to an audiobook. We must not all read the papers, but we can also switch on the audios, and that's also an amazing way to get information. Thank you, Florian. And Francois Chukwemeka, you're welcome to our conversation today. And Francois Chukwemeka says, very good advice.
Good
Read,
point. Good point.
read some books on how to negotiate something. My proposition, our children have to learn to play at the theater or to act in the family. Thank you. Thank you so much, Chukwemeka. So, Francois, let's continue our conversation today. What would you say, when, or again, when was that moment you thought it was important for you to understand the techniques, or again, the principles of negotiation?
Oh, yes. I remember I kept losing. So making rookie regrets. So after
Mhm,
negotiation, I always had the feeling I missed something,
mhm,
I forgot something, or I gave away something I didn't want to. So those are the moment where I started putting together a strategy
mhm,
to go through the process, making sure I don't leave any stone unturned. And
mhm,
uh, and uh, and the guy Alan McCarthy, he's really putting this thing together. So for you to understand those principles and apply that every day. And once you start doing that down the road, you start practicing that. So you become an expert. So you don't, when living a negotiation, you're sure you're giving your best,
mhm,
and you're sure you are preparing for the next time to do the best job the next time. So this is what
mhm,
it's all about. Yeah.
mhm,
Mm,
mhm. Wow. First, Florian, let me
mm,
ask you. The
mm,
first principle you said,
mm.
don't even negotiate. Now, if you go with the mindset, don't even negotiate, what does that really mean? Don't even negotiate. Don't negotiate.
This is a good point. That means that you understand deeply the value proposition you are bringing, and
Now,
you
but this is
will
a
prepare.
confusion. I have to come in here. I
Go
want to
ahead.
come
Go
in
ahead.
here
Mhm,
because we are maybe in a service world, and we have lot of not competitors, yes, competitors. And we
competition.
have people that have made their names in the market.
Mm-hmm.
And of course the system, because of the structural um discrimination, racism that also exists, there is
Mm-hmm.
a tendency to want to back up some particular people, business owners, and then disfavor
Mm-hmm.
others. Now, if
Mm-hmm.
you're coming, even though you have all the competence, you don't even really need anything much, but you know that that's a deal, that's a job, that's a contract you could also have to add more value to the lives of other people, because
Mm-hmm.
when you're doing the businesses, you're adding value to the lives of people.
Mm-hmm.
And of course there is a given amount of gift in return for that value you're adding to other people. And now,
Mm-hmm.
and therefore you have to go into this negotiation. And
Mm-hmm.
you are saying that don't even negotiate. Now, explain to me better to understand.
Okay. Now, because you're walking into the negotiation thinking about your weakness. This is first of all because I've been listening to you. You're talking about what kind of other issue you have, and those issues you're going to leverage on that to do other things. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's good, it's legitimate, it's okay. But when you understand your business and you understand the value proposition you're bringing,
Mm-hmm.
when I say understanding the value proposition, is that you should understand where your limit are, so you should understand what the customer wants and what he needs, what the counterpart want and what he need, and where are your limit. You understand your limit. You know what you can propose, and you know the least you can go in. There, when I say don't negotiate, meaning don't go under the least you can go in,
Okay.
but you still try to hit a higher bet, isn't it? Don't
Mm-hmm.
forget that because you have the high bet, the average one, and the least.
Mm-hmm.
So don't negotiate under the least you can go in.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the reason why I told them never, never accept the first proposition, because now you can negotiate further to the better one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Thank you. Again, even negotiation is closed, a first deal is closed.
Mhm.
Can there be amendment by the second deal?
Yeah, this is a good question. This brings us to the point number 10. Because the point number 10 is that after finishing a negotiation, always leave the win-win feeling. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The win-win feeling is so important because you prepare the ground for the next step, to the
Mm-hmm.
next negotiation endeavors. Okay,
Beautiful.
so this win-win feeling is so critical, and there can be an amendment, because when working into the next negotiation, push on what you gave away the other time. Don't push on what you got. Push on what you gave away. So this time you don't give away, but you take something out.
Mm-hmm.
So those are progression stuff. So you have to have a plan long term when negotiating, for instance, a contract with a company that you're going to be working down the road with them.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Thank you so much. And Bridget is saying that make strategic plans or steps,
Exactly.
and
Mhm.
she continues also to say, hey, beautiful topic. Yes, thank you, Bridget. Share the link, invite a friend, tag a friend, because I know that we are all going through conscious or unconscious negotiation processes, at times at home, in our businesses, a job site. I mean, and Bridget is also selling. She has her business, and I'm sure that you have to be going through negotiation processes always and often and often. And so we have other friends who are also doing businesses. So tag a friend, invite a friend to come join in this conversation, or maybe could join later, because I think negotiation is a skills that we need to succeed. Now, I have come to the thought that negotiation, apart from courage, negotiation is a one number two most important skills that an entrepreneur or a business person or a human being needs. What do you think, Florian?
I agree with that, because again, we all negotiate, even we want it or not. Even babies negotiate. When they want something, they cry, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Because they won't talk, but they
Mm-hmm.
exercise. They're doing something else to get what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Negotiation is everywhere. It's life. If you want to eat, you negotiate. If you want
Mm-hmm.
to marry, you negotiate. If you want to have a
Mm-hmm.
job, you negotiate. Um, this is everywhere. This is life. Yes, I agree with that. Now, the core word about negotiation is compromise.
Mm-hmm.
Compromise is on the table every time. This is a give and take. And it's all about compromising every time. Yes.
It's all about compromising every time, but not compromising your very self.
Yes,
Rule
that's
number two. And Miss Memoir, you're welcome. Thank you very much. Miss Memoir and Miss Memoir also is asking the question. I'm sure he came a little late.
Mm.
what does it really take to negotiate or to have a good collaboration or a business deal? It goes back to the very first question also that
Mm.
Cheryl had asked. Do you want to add
Yeah.
some things since he came late?
Yes, yes. I mean, I would advise him to go back and listen to the beginning because I went through 10 points and we had
Mhm.
some discussion about how to leverage on those 10 points to be a better negotiator in every kind of business deal. So please, Mesmin, go back and listen to the beginning, maybe the first 30 minutes, and you're going to get the answer to your question.
Thank you very much. And he's
Mm.
also still asking, is there any specific negotiation model that can prove success, that has proven to succeed, apart from the 10 techniques?
Uh, I would advise him to read the Alan McCarthy books. Yes, there is some of the model, but all are embedded in these 10 techniques.
Okay.
Again, you have some negotiation when you negotiate an agreement with the teams. You go through these 10 techniques, but from a certain aspect. So you
Mm-hmm.
need to read many books. You need to, when, for instance, if you are working with a team and you go guys together, ladies together, and you sit together in a home, you have to synchronize with other counterpart to negotiate with the other
Mm-hmm.
teams. And also you have to be ready to give something away to get something back. So those are things, but read books, learn, practice, and you will be fit.
Mm-hmm. I
Mhm.
want to come back to rule number 9. Never
Mm.
ever make a quick deal. All negotiation has a tempo. Always work with the tempo. Now, please explain to us again in detail that we should not make a quick deal. That we know. I tell people the only quick deal you have to have is a deal of salvation. That you must accept the Lord Jesus Christ today.
Amen. That's it. Yes, agree with
And
that.
so that
Yes.
if you
Mm,
die the next minute, your soul can go rest. But now,
mm.
and you see, and I agree with you that never make any quick deal. Now, let's go back again to how do we define the time of a deal? How quick, how slow? How do we get into that?
Again, all negotiation most of the time are set up front, isn't it? So you have a tempo, you have a time schedule. You're going through a process. If
Mhm.
the other party change and want to rush you through a signature, you know, like, okay, we're going to make things very quick and bring the signature on the table. We need signature now. Ask yourself why. Because maybe they found they found something, some value that was hidden from you. So you need to go back and review the 3 point of point number 8, I think so, making sure that you have all the value before going to the signature. Never rush. Because when they rush, because they've seen an advantage and they want to take advantage of that. They never rush if they haven't seen advantage of their point, of their standpoint. Okay, that's it. Mm.
I like this. They never rush, and I'm very excited because I'm based in Germany, and in Germany, this is what they say all the time: "Give me a night to sleep over it." Give me a night to sleep over it. So I
Yeah.
have to sleep over it. And so that's the first thing I learned in Germany: never to sign any paper without giving a thought over it. So give
Mhm.
me a night to sleep over it. Give me time to think about it. Is a real word one should always have to put in their mouth. And I think that most of the time we especially the people with the African descent, we have it hard to say no at times. And I think that makes deals difficult because you just
Yeah.
want to rush into everything, right? And
Mhm.
then usually we're unable to really meet to the demands of that deal because we didn't just know how to say, give me time to think about it. So if you're here, ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to the conversation. And today we are talking about negotiation, and we know and believe that you can learn how to negotiate. And our guest today is Florian Dzukou. And of course, he too has his own businesses, and he has been learning and using his negotiation skills over the past years that he's doing his business. And that's why he gave us the 10 principles and the 10 techniques that you can also apply on your day-to-day life as well, and it can make good improve your life. And one of the rules he said is do not rush into a deal. And if you're here in Germany, you would have experienced that by now, that each time you go for a deal, each time you go for a contract, they always tell you, go and read over it and then come back to us the next day. Thank you. I hope that Bridget, you're clarified now what he meant, and I hope that it has helped a little, and that you can make good use of it. Florian, I'm taking you back to your rule number 6.
All
Never
right.
ever, yes,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
never ever make a free gift. Give something for something. What does that mean?
Well, I took an example in terms of negotiating something that costs, for instance, 1,000 euro. Okay, never make a quick a free gift. Meaning, before you give something away, make sure you get something from that, because every negotiation is about preparing the next step, as
Mhm,
somebody said here. So never ever make a let's say, I take an example to break it, to explain. Let's say you're
mhm,
negotiating something that costs 1,000 euro, and
mhm,
you give 10% for nothing. The other party gonna feel entitled of this 10% the next time.
mhm,
Because when working in the negotiation the next time, he gonna comes in thinking that, okay, 10% I have it upfront. This is, I'm entitled of that. So now he's
mhm,
gonna drive the price down to 800, to another
mhm,
10%. So you're gonna end up at 800,
mhm,
losing 20%. So before you get 10% away, you make sure you get something
mhm,
on balance. Okay.
mhm,
So this is
mhm,
so important, because that project also the strength. The other party is there to win. So when you make sure you don't give anything away, that's signal to him that these guys understand, and he understand, he has identified the value proposition of what he's bringing. And if I
mhm.
really need that, because the guy also believe in what he's bringing on the table, I should buy. I don't need to drive the
I
price
mean,
down.
this is so. Thank you for just confirming some few stuffs, Florian. This is so interesting what you're saying. And each time you give this gift, you realize that when you're giving it, actually, the people are not doing any extra work again to earn that gift because it's
Yes,
already served to them for
hmm
free.
yes, he feel entitled. Next time he gonna comes in. Okay. Next time you give me 10%. This time you give me 10%, and now you give me 10% this time. Now I want more. Okay, I go on 10% more. This is 20% then. So never ever give something for free.
Never ever give something for
Ever.
free. Thank you so much. Mary De Caro, you're welcome, ma'am. And Mary De Caro is saying, this is new to me and interesting. Say no to a deal. Mary De Caro did not know one can say no to a deal. How courageous must one be to say no to a deal, Florian?
Um, say no to it. It depend. So now again, this is all about value proposition. You should know what the other part expect from you and what he need. Okay, when somebody needs something and you know that you are bringing the best product on the table, why
Mm,
why are you going to rush into a bad deal? Why do you, I
mhm.
mean, let's say when you say Rolex, when you take a watch Rolex, when they say, sometimes even people tend to believe and trust expensive stuff. Do you know that?
Yes. Mm,
I'm gonna take an example. When the Bitcoin, let's say the Bitcoin was 1,000 euro, people didn't want to buy the Bitcoin.
mhm, mhm,
3,000 euro, they say no. 10,000 euro, they say no. And yet the Bitcoin claimed to 50,000 euro, and everybody want to buy,
mhm,
because when the time goes on, when people understand the value and
mhm,
Bitcoin is value storage, they buy
mhm,
it. You just don't
mhm,
talk. They're gonna rush and buy it.
mhm, mhm.
And this is what it's all about. Um,
Amazing.
a same cars can be, another cars is 1 million euro, another one is 20,000 euro.
Mm,
But people go, they buy the 1 million euro. Why?
mm.
Because they understand the value proposition, and they will never drive the price down because they know that what we are bringing on the table is not for a certain market niche.
We have to have this
And
conversation again.
yeah,
It's so unfortunate that the time runs so quick when the story begins to sound very interesting. I just don't like this 58 minutes conversation, but we have to always stay on 58 minutes. And Irene Mark Twison
good
says
question.
that
Yeah.
no free gifts. What about sales offer or discount?
Aha. This is a good question. Even when you make sale offer and discount, you've got to know what you're doing. You got to know. This is the reason sometimes when they make that, they make, so for instance, a discount of 30% is 1 day. When you pass this 1 day, this discount becomes 15%. And after 3 days, this discount becomes 5%. Why are they doing that? To make people rush the same days and buy a lot. So 1 day they make
Mm,
a, a big business. They have a big a big
purchase.
exactly. This is what it's all about. Anything with purpose. Don't just do things because you have to calculate. 1 days is 30%, the second days is 15%, and the third days is 5%. But all you're targeting is the mass from the first day because everybody gonna come and buy quick. You rush them in the deal and buy the 30%
And
discount.
of course, the rushing in the deal is really
And,
that's
and
a
you're winning
specialty
because you make
because
them
you're
rush in the
winning.
deal. Yes.
Yes, because many people are coming to buy, and since many
Yes.
people are coming to buy, then of
Yes.
course you're winning in that.
Yes.
Wow, wow,
This is
amazing.
negotiation tactics, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Florian. Please come to the last word. Give us a few words for those who are out here listening to you. And but before we get there, let me give Leval the privilege to her point. She said, looking at rule number 8, does this mean the deal should be a win-win situation? No one should lose on a deal, no regret why you go into the deal.
This is rule number 8, isn't it? Let
Yes.
me check it out again. Okay.
I.
This is avoid the rookie regret. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this is also rule number 8 and rule number 10. Look, the rookie regret meaning what? When you say something, you make sure after the deal you don't regret. So you make sure you went through all the point. Point number 1, making sure you get the cost and the value. So making sure you match that. Point number 2, you make sure your the other party get what is worthy for what they are paying.
Mm.
And your rule number 3 is eco cost and eco value. So
Mm.
this is just making sure when you work out a negotiation, you make sure that no matter what had happened, you are satisfied from the point that you got what you wanted. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is the point. And the rule number 10 was that never reveal your bottom line. So after the negotiation, never tell them from which point, from which leverage you went into the negotiation. So
Mm-hmm.
leaving the sentiment of the win-win situation.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yes.
So important to let the people have that sentiment of having won as well. Thank you so
Mhm.
very much, Florian. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for giving us the gift of your time and joining us into this very important conversation of negotiation. Every day of our lives, we negotiate. Children negotiate, adults negotiate, at home we negotiate, in business we negotiate. And so we think it's a very important conversation. And like Irene said, we need this conversation again. Florian, a last word before we conclude today.
I want to thank you, Vera, for inviting me and all your audiences. You're doing a great job. Yes, I'm ready to have another conversation about this topic. That was it for me for today. I thank you, everybody, and talk to you later.
Thank you very much, Florian, and we're going to meet again next week. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our conversation, and that was Negotiation Web Class with Florian Dzukou and myself, your host, Vera Sompon. Hoping to see you again on Thursday tomorrow for those who are going to be joining